Third largest source of food carbohydrates in the tropical hemisphere. It is a major staple in the developing world, providing a basic diet for over 500 million people. The World Bank's International Market Profile shows that cassava is the third most important source of calories in the tropics after rice and maize. Millions of people depend on cassava in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. A global cassava market study by the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, states that the Latin American countries appear to have the greatest market growth potential for cassava. This shows the commercial value that cassava can have for a developing country such as Guyana. With large-scale production, farmers could have an opportunity to tap into the multi-million-dollar export market. The National Agricultural Research and Extension Institute, NARI, recognizes this and is exploring ways to help farmers move into the commercial production of cassava. NARI is currently using Brazilian machines to cultivate and harvest cassava at its Cairuni Horticulture Station as part of an experiment.
This equipment was brought from Brazil through aid, through Cardi actually. Now we use this here to do cassava planting as well as fertilizing at the time of planting. Now this equipment is functioning based on the traction of the tires. Land has to be prepared flat in order for this equipment to work, to function properly. Now here we have different gears settings where we have, it works based on our planting density. If we want to achieve at 10,000 plants per acre, of course we have to set the gears to suit the amount of plants per acre. Now if, of course it can go down or it can increase. It all depends on how we adjust the gear. As well as the fertilization. It depends on the amount of fertilizer we want to apply. We set the gear to suit the amount of fertilizer that the machine will put in the hole before the cassava is planted. So we have to set the gears to suit the amount of fertilizer that we want to apply.
This is relatively new technology to Guyana.
Definitely. This is the first of its kind in Guyana. This is pretty modern because Brazil, they're using this a lot in Brazil and other Latin American countries. This is the cassava uprooter, or we call it the harvester. Now this is the only one of its kind here in Guyana. One of the reasons why we're using this machine is because the fact that harvesting is so labor intensive and it's very, very difficult for farmers to actually harvest cassava because it's something that where you actually has to go down and pull your root physically. Now with this machine, it's tractor driven. It actually goes below the roots and it will uproot the cassava. But what you need to do is to go through after the harvest has passed, go through and you do your selection and you ensure that your cassava is not damaged and stuff like that. But we actually did a demonstration here with this uprooter and it works perfectly, especially in sandy area. We harvested 3 acres of cassava in less than an hour, which is fantastic. Compared to if we had to use labor, that will probably take us more than 20 personnel to do that job.
While the machine cuts back in manual labor, it allows for much greater acreage to be cultivated. This, of course, would lead to a larger harvest.
It all depends on the amount of planting materials that you have, the quality of planting materials, and depends on the persons who are actually feeding the planting material in the slot. Now, this could actually give us like more than 20 acres of planting, more than 20 acres per day.
The cost of the machine makes it difficult for each farmer to purchase one. So farmers are advised to form themselves in groups to buy one machine which they can share. Nari would provide a training on how to use these machines.
We had 2 training sessions held right here with farmers from Parika and Craig area. These are the 2 main areas of cassava in Guyana. Now, what happened with the farmers in Parika and Craig is that they are so accustomed to using the ridge and furrow system that when they had the opportunity to see the demonstration with this machine, they felt that it's an advantage to them in that they will be able to plant more acreage in shorter time, because due to the fact that they have a labor shortage in these areas, this machine will work perfectly.
Farmers can also try out Nari's machines by making a formal request to the National Agriculture Research and Extension Institute.
A farming group from Parika area, they have indicated their willingness to use this machine to do their planting, because they worked with group, and I mentioned to them that they could probably come together as a group and prepare maybe 20-30 acres of land, and this machine will go up there to aid with the planting.
Cassava is a very important part of the Guyanese diet. It is the main ingredient for the cassava kasrib and farine for the indigenous peoples. It is used in soup, it is boiled and fried with yams, eddos, sweet potatoes and plantains, and even used as flour for roti. Cassava chip is also a part of Guyanese snack time. And what about a nice piece of cassava pone? Of course, in Guyana you can't have metem without cassava. But the lowly cassava can be more than all of these things. It can also be a major income earner and source of foreign exchange.